Hey, how's it going, guys? And welcome to our final review for Panic at the Disco. We're finally at the last album of this little Panic at the Disco series. And after this, we got a live stream to talk about, and then that's it for Panic at the Disco. What a ride it has been, man, going through each album again, listening to every song. So fresh, so unique. I really loved it and I enjoyed it, and I'm so glad I got to share it all with you guys, talk about what I think, and that's one thing I noticed throughout the reviews. I always kind of talk about how I feel about the album. I don't do a proper review where I break down the songs. I don't break down like the sounding of the music too well. But that's because I'm just not that big of a music guy, in the sense of where I don't know a lot about music. I love music. I listen to music every day. Music is a huge part of my life. Panic at the Disco is a big part of my life. They're a band I really grew up with, and they were probably the first band I ever really fell in love with and was a huge fan of. It was Panic at the Disco for me, and I'm so happy that they're like my band. I don't know. I'm glad to be a fan of theirs. I love the music. It's so good. It's been a fun ride listening to every album again. And I can't wait to go see them in concert for the very first time in my life. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome. So excited. But back to the review. So yeah, I realize I don't, break it down into specifics or anything. I just go about it and I explain how I feel about it. And hopefully you guys at home who are watching this video can relate to what I'm saying. Relate to how I feel about the album, certain songs. That's how I tend to review things. Is just interpret how I see it and just, talk about it. I know it's not a proper review and I apologize, but this is how I review things. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that for some reason. I don't know. It's the last album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Their first album to ever come out. Very first album back in 2005. What a time. What a time to be alive. Man, I think I was 4 when this album came out. Before, I don't think I started listening to Panic until a year later when I was 5, because I vividly remember being 5 years old, having an MP3 player and listening to this entire album. I remember it all. Like I don't know. It's just something I remember. They were a huge part of my childhood. One thing last time, and then we'll get into the review. Panic at the Disco. God, this chair, man, I can't get it to stop squeaking. I apologize if that happens throughout the video. But yeah, last thing before we get to the review. Panic at the Disco survey. If you guys want to be a part of our live stream tomorrow that will take place, where we will break down our questionnaires, go through all the data that we collected from all you fans out there, and just go over it, talk about it. I think that's going to be really fun. I'm going to have that link for the survey in the description down below. So please feel free to fill it out before we go over it all tomorrow. Link is in the description for the survey. Last time I'll mention it. So if you guys want to participate in that, please do. Awesome. Share it with anybody who you think would want to fill it out, even if they're not hardcore fans of Panic, or if they've heard a few songs or just a few albums. They don't have to be a diehard fan. They just gotta know Panic, and they can fill it out. That's all. That's the only qualifications that you guys need. So yeah, last time I'll mention it. So let's get into the review for A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Now this review will be a bit different than my other reviews, even then maybe Pretty Odd, because in my Pretty Odd one, I tested out going over the song, showing you guys the stuff I did like and didn't like. While I did like doing that video was a long video. I have not edited it yet as of right now, as of me recording this. No edits have been made yet. It's not published, but right now it's standing at about 50 minutes long. So that's a long video on Pretty Odd. So I want to try to do it again for this album, but make it shorter. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I want to try to keep it around 20 minutes, 20, maybe 30 minutes, like my other videos have been. But I don't even know how long Pretty Odd is going to be. I apologize for making it such a long video. So yeah, so how else this video is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to break down all the songs. I'm not going to go individually, I'm going to talk about the album. I'm going to talk about the songs. I'm going to rank the songs. Everything's still going to be the same. I'm just not really going to go individually. I don't know, just to save myself some time. There's a lot I have to say about the album, which I am going to touch upon, because I did take notes. I just heard this album so many times that I have the same feelings for it as I did months and years ago, you know. I feel the same, so I'm just going to try to make this a short video. I don't want this to be too long, if that makes sense. So let's just get started with the introduction. The introduction of the album. So good. So good. I love it. I love how it's like a broadcast coming in, or like a television. Like I imagine old school, maybe 50s like television, where you're fixing the antenna and the broadcast is coming in finally, and you know, that's how I felt with the introduction. And then to pick up with the first technical song, the only difference between Martyrdom and Suicide is press coverage. It's crazy. I don't know, because that's one thing I would love to experience. I would love to I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I would love to experience this song, not just this song, this album, for the first time it came out. Like, I wish I was a teenager when this song came out. Album, sorry, I need to stop saying song. This chair is really like messing with me. But yeah, no, I really wish I could experience this album as like a teenager for the first time. This album would have done so much for me. It really would have. I know it done a lot for not just the alternative, emo, rock, whatever you want to call this genre. It done so much for it. You know, this album put Panic at the Disco on the map. It really did. I mean, I know some of you guys who are younger don't know this album, like don't know Panic at the Disco because of this album. You guys probably know them because of Death of a Bachelor, Pray for the Wicked, Too Rare to Live, Too Rare to Die, newer albums. That's cool. But I grew up with this. A lot of people I know who know Panic at the Disco grew up with this album, and I just wish I could have enjoyed this new for the first time, being older, and I don't know, get the full experience. But I get to live that through my brother David, I guess. But yeah, just to open up with that song has so much energy, so much emotions. Like, they just kind of throw you in there. Like, we're Panic at the Disco, this is what we got to show you. Like, that's what they just showed me. Like, that's what it felt like when I was listening to that song. And I was like, this is Panic at the Disco. Who is Panic at the Disco in 2005? It's a new band that came out. Oh, listen to this song. I Write Sins Not Tragedies. Whoa, this song is fire. Whoa, this entire album is fire. These guys came from Las Vegas in a garage out of nowhere. Like, what? What? Like, it's just crazy how this all came to be. Like, this album is unreal. It's too good. It's really too good. And that's why I'm saying it's so, every song, I did a song ranking for this album, and let me tell you, this was harder than Vices and Virtues to rank. I physically couldn't, except for one song, and I'll get there in a bit. This was just so hard. Every song is so good, and it keeps you entertained, keeps you intrigued with the sound and the music, and you don't want to ever stop listening to it. They got elements in here where you can just jam out, rock, bob your head like crazy. And then they got elements to where you can dance and have a good time for it. And like, I don't know, there's a lot of emotions that kept coming through me when I was listening to this album. A lot of happiness, a lot of joyful emotions. But I was really appreciating what they did, because this album did really impact a lot of people. Me, for example, too. It's one of my favorite albums ever. Such a strong album from start to finish. It really is. And I love the whole theme of like the carnival circus and like Las Vegas themes in there, and it's just so well like planned out. The lyrics well written. I know people want to give Ryan Ross some shit because they're like, he was writing this album based off a book he was reading. So like, he made this, like, he wrote this. Yeah, he got inspired by the book, but these are still his words. Yeah, they're not his experiences or anything, but they were able to create this beautiful sound. No one else will be able to create a sound like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Yet they can come close, have similarities, but it would never be the same as A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. I don't know. To me, I really hold this album really high for me. I love it. I just love it so much that, yeah, this is what I think about the album. I know a lot of people don't think the same as I do about it, but this album is really special. It really is. And they all bring it. Spencer brings it, Ryan brings it, Brendan, they all bring it in this album. They do such a good job. They really do. And I'm only on the second song, and I said I wasn't going to go individual. But yeah, let me just talk about some of the standouts I really like. So yeah, the only difference between Martyrdom and Suicide is press coverage. So good, so good. And then Leonard Beckett songs about money rent by machines, another good one. Kami-sa, they're all good. I could just name this entire album. The one song that I do not like on this album, absolutely cannot stand. Like, even when I was listening to it earlier, skip, not even doing that shit, nope. Which it was Nails for Breakfast, Tack for Snacks. And that song is god awful. And I'm gonna play a snippet of it so you guys know why. Like, I don't even want to right now. I really don't, but it's just Like, at first you're like, oh, okay, this doesn't sound bad. What is this? What's going on? And then this happens. I can't. That's so bad, in my opinion. I can't stand the autotune. I can't. If you guys want a good version of the song, let me play you it right now, because way better, way better than what the hell that were. I don't even know what that was. Who made the decision to put that song on the album? I'm not complaining about the song. I'm just complaining about that version, because with the version I'm about to show you, that should have been on the album. That would have been a lot better. Now, this is the demo version for Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks. Let me turn it up a little bit. No auto-tune. Cause you might swallow your tongue. So good, man. This is way better than whatever the hell that was. Got a bitch's situation, running my down. So good. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit so you guys can get a little bit more of it. I'm just trying to play the song in intervals so I don't get copyrighted. I'm only letting like 30 seconds, maybe less. But so yeah. Oh, watch when it gets to the chorus, man. Oh, I skipped the chorus. Where is it? This is it. To alter the shades, to alter the pills, you know you should. In a day at a time. Okay. Already better, right? Let me play you the chorus of the other one. Just real fast. No, it's not the same as the other one. It's not the same, man. That's why I can't stand it. Man. That song sucks. That version of that song. The demo version, way better. Go check it out. Throw it on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. Just don't have that one. I don't know. I know there's a few people, though, who do like that version of the song. And it's one of their favorites. But it's my least favorite. It's probably the worst Panic at the Disco song, honestly. I don't know. That's how I feel about the song. I just really don't like that version. It's just, I can't listen to it. Too heavily on the autotune. It doesn't sound the same. It sounds a lot better acoustic with the just an acoustic guitar and him singing. Sounds way better. But yeah, this whole album, man, like, I want to play, like, but if it's better if you do. It's so good. Somewhere downtown with the birds that scream, may even ask my name. It's so good, man. The little drone at the end. Brrr, I'll show you, because I can't imitate it with my mouth, man. I'm just not that good. This. I love this, man. So good. Well, I'm afraid that I. So good. So yeah, but it's better if you do. Time to Dance. I like this one. I know my brother likes the demo version better, but I think I like this one better. Like, I like this. I like that a lot. Well, she's slumbering on the ballroom floor just for the attention, 'cause that's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's so good. This whole album, man. This whole album. Kamisato. The Ivy and it's so good. On the floor. This is the scent of Cortina wings. Yeah. Oh, dude, I could jam out to this all day. It sounds normal, but we deal. Just sit back and relax. Just sit back and relapse again. So good. I love this whole album, dude. How can you hate this album? And how can you say that this is not the best Panic at the Disco album? Every song after hit, except for Nails Tax, whatever. Except for Nails. But every song is so good. Every song, man. I constantly thank God for Esteban. My one question about this song is, who the fuck is Esteban? Somebody tell me. Who's Esteban? The only Esteban I know is from Zack and Cody. But that's it. So I thank him for his service. Thank you, Esteban. But anyways, yeah, man. Was this day our daily dose of horror fiction? Like, it's so good, man. Don't you move. I can't, dude. I can just go about this all day, every day, man. Bill God, then we talk. La la la. So good, man. So good. And then, of course, the number one hit, I Write Sins Not Tragedies. How can you go wrong with this album? How? I know you guys who are younger probably don't really mess with this sound or don't really like it. But you gotta admit, this is good. This is really good. It's way better than anything on Pray for the Wicked, Death of a Bachelor. Like, I just want to start levitating every time I listen to this album, dude. It's so good. I love it. I mean, I know I've been saying that throughout this entire review. That's why I'm saying it's going to be short, because I feel the same about every single song, except for Nails, on this album. I feel the same. I love each song. I think they all bring a lot of energy. The sound and production is absolute fire and genius. And that's what I'm saying. How did four 18-year-old boys, teenagers, whatever you want to call them, made this kind of music in 2005? Like, dude, they inspired so many artists after them, even though I know they were so inspired by so many bands before them. My Chemical Romance, Green Day, Pierce the Veil, you know, all those emo bands, even the pop or the post-punk bands, even those, like, you know, Blink-182, they were all inspired by them. But they came out and literally made their own stamp on the genre. And I love it. And that's where it gets confusing, to where, like, why did they do Pretty Odd next? They should have kept going with what they had behind them. They were on a roll with this album. But then to follow up with Pretty Odd, I don't get it. And I think that's the decision between, you know, I obviously it's a decision between all of them. They're all part of the band. But I think that it was heavily influenced on Ryan. I think Ryan was a big influence to go in that direction towards Pretty Odd. He probably was able to convince the others, like, hey, let's try to make like a Beatle album. You know, like, we're so popular now. We're huge. We got the fan base. It's okay, like, to make an album like this. I don't know. That's just how I feel about the situation. Of course, things could have been played differently. But it just felt like, you know, they were trying to be on that Beatles level status, and it didn't quite work. And then they broke up, and then Brendan Spencer continued, and then followed up with Vices and Virtues. And that's why I feel like Vices and Virtues sounds a lot like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, in a new and refresh way. It's 2011, and, you know, a lot has happened. But I feel like it's one of the closest albums that they have ever made to ever sound like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. And I know to some people it was like, well, I don't like it when bands are making similar music to their old stuff. I want them to make new music. And that's why you guys like Pray for the Wicked, and that's why you guys like Death of a Bachelor, because it's different. That's cool. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys like it. But for me, I would love for them to make music not exactly, but similar and newer, clever, like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. It's possible for them. Well, it was possible. And now I feel like it's a little bit more possible. And so I think I'm just going to get into the album ranking. Or actually, let's do song ranking and then I'll jump into the album ranking, because I still have some more to say about this album. So for the song ranking, again, this was super hard. I'm going to go from my least favorite to my favorite. With number 13, it's god-awful Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks. Number 12, Introduction. Number 11, Intermission. Number 10, Time to Dance. Number 9, Kamisato. Number 8, London Beacon Songs About Money Written by Machines. Such a long title, a lot of these songs. That's why I kind of had to break it up when I talk about it. So number 7, Lying is the Most Fun a Girl Can Have Without Taking Her Clothes Off. Number 6, The Only Difference Between Martyrdom and Suicide is Press Coverage. Then number 5, There's a Good Reasons These Tables Are Numbered, Honey. You just haven't thought of it yet. And then number 4, I Constantly Thank God for Esteban. Number 3, I Write Sins Not Tragedies. Number 2, But It's Better If You Do. And then my favorite, number 1, Build God, Then We'll Talk. So good, so good. I really love every song except for Nails, I'll keep saying that, on this album. Even the introduction and intermission, I love those songs. Especially intermission. I mean, not so much the introduction because not much happens there, but it gets you introduced to the album, the concept, and just gets you prepared to what you're about to listen to. But for intermission, I love the piano, and I feel like there's a bit of an eeriness hidden behind it all. And I love that. I really do, and I love the piano, and I just picture in my head this creepy, slow dance scene going on while that music's playing. I love it so much, and I love this entire album. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. So I think with that being said, I think I need to rank all these Panic! At the Disco albums. This is going to be fun. After all this time of reviewing all these albums, now I finally get to rank them. Whew, this is going to be awesome. Anyways, so let's start off with my least favorite album. So let's go with number 7. Man, after all the reviewing, after everything I felt, I think you guys know what my least favorite album is by now. If not, let me make it clear right now. My least favorite album, probably the worst album in my opinion by Panic! At the Disco, Pray for the Wicked. Yes, I know, I'm sorry, everybody. For those who do like the album, I'm just not that big on it. I can't. I gave it so many chances, and I can't get past it. I'm sorry. Number 6. Now this one's a bit of a surprise to me, because I always used to say Pretty Odd and Pray for the Wicked are one of the worst albums made by Panic! At the Disco. But now I feel differently about it. I don't think Pretty Odd's that far down there. I mean, yeah, it might be on the lower half, but it's not the worst. I think the one that comes in second to last, in my opinion, which is gonna be I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to build this much anticipation, but I used to like this album when it came out. I used to bump it all the time, be a big fan of it, but now it's just, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know, but it is better than Pray for the Wicked, and that album is Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die. Yeah, I know. Some of you be like, what? That album's so good. It has This Is Gospel on it. It has Vegas Lights, Far Too Young to Die, Girls, Girls, Boys. How can you not like that album? Yeah, I don't know. It's just, like I said, I used to like that album so much when I was younger. But now I just don't feel the same about it. And it's just messy. It's all over the place. It doesn't fit together as an album, in my opinion. But I know this is a lot of people's favorite, and this is where they started with Panic! At the Disco. But like I said, it's just not for me anymore. So then with that being said, number 5, I think this should be pretty easy. Number 5 is going to be Pretty Odd. While Pretty Odd is not the worst album, it's not the best. But it's not, I find it to be in between. I find it to be good. It's a good album. It is. It's decent. It's listenable now. I mean, I when I was younger, I couldn't listen to it. I refused to because of how much they try to be like the Beatles, how folkish they try to be. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of it. But now listening to it again, I can appreciate all the work and I respect everything they did on that album. Number 4. I think it's going to start to get like all the pieces are about to fit into place now. Once I get past this one. So number 4, Death of a Bachelor. Death of a Bachelor was good, and I didn't like it as much as I did now. You know, and even it being the predecessor to Pray for the Wicked, I didn't know what, at the time when it came out, I didn't know what was going to come after Pray for the Wicked. Death of a Bachelor. I did not even think it was going to be Pray for the Wicked or anything sounding like that. I thought and was hoping for that it was going to be better than Death of a Bachelor at the time. But now that we have Death of a Bachelor, we have Pray for the Wicked, I appreciate Death of a Bachelor a lot more. And I see where he was going with that sound, which led into Pray for the Wicked. But I think that Death of a Bachelor sounded better than these past 3 albums. You know, I at least like a lot more songs from this album than I do with the past 3. So, that's how I feel about Death of a Bachelor. So, number 3, my third favorite Panic album. Again, pieces are about to start fitting into place here. But number 3, Viva Las Vengeance. Viva Las Vengeance has become one of my favorite albums. Immediately top 3 after my first listen. Top 3 for sure. Like, I knew it was number 3. I knew it wasn't better than Vices, and I knew it wasn't better than A Fever. I did know it was better than every other album that Panic has ever put out. This, again, was the closest thing to A Fever You Can't Sweat Out than any other album, except for Vices. This album, Viva Las Vengeance, right now, me being 20 years old, about to be 21 here soon, I don't know, it was perfect timing, perfect place. I love it. I can't stop listening to it. I did not know I needed a good Panic at the Disco album this badly until this album came out. And I'm so glad that this album came out, and I'm so upset that this album is getting so much hate, because it's not a bad album. It's really not. I mean, yeah, some people can see it as a ripoff to bands like Queen, or artists like Billy Joel, Elton John. They could see it as a ripoff, but I see it as an homage to those artists and to that era of rock music. And Brendan really did it. He did it all by himself this time, with the help of Butch Walker, Mike Viola, Jake Sinclair. He made such a great album, and I'm so excited I get to see this album performed live. I mean, I was going to go see a Vices and Virtues concert back in 2011 when the album came out, but then my mom said no, and then I found out it was an 18 and up show anyways, so I couldn't even have gone. But yeah, that was the closest chance I ever had to go see Panic, and now I'm actually going to go see them. And I'm so excited that it's this album. You know, I'm glad I didn't go see them from Pray for the Wicked or Death of a Bachelor. I'm glad it's Viva Las Vengeance. So with number 2 and number 1. Number 2, this is always hard because these two always flip-flop. One is always number 1, and then it's number 2 sometimes, and then the other one is number 1. I don't know, it's confusing. But they always seem to change. But I think this might be like set in stone, like for me, for like the rest of my life. In this moment, I think it is. So number 2 and number 1, my second favorite Panic at the Disco album is Vices and Virtues. Which means my favorite Panic at the Disco of all time is A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. It's super hard to beat A Fever You Can't Sweat Out from Panic at the Disco. I don't think they could ever top A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. I think they can come close. They did with Vices and Virtues. Vices and Virtues, man, it's so hard. Like I said, it always flip-flops. Like for a few months, it would be Vices and Virtues is my favorite Panic at the Disco album ever. And A Fever would be number 2. But then I would listen to A Fever again, and then it goes back to number 1. And then it pushes Vices down. So it always flip-flops. But both of these albums are so special to me. Especially Vices, because I was a bit older when Vices and Virtues came out. Like, that was like my first Panic album, in a way. Because, yeah, Pretty Odd came out in 2008. I was probably 6 or 7. So I still wasn't really understanding the whole, music aspect. I was just enjoying them for the sound. At that time, I knew what sound I liked and didn't like, and it attracted me. But when Vices came out, it was different. I was older. I was maybe 9, 10 years old. I had a way better understanding, and I have already been listening to Panic at the Disco for 2 albums already in a total of 6 years. So it was just, it's very special to me, and I really hold that one close to me as well. But with the Fever, it's just so hard to beat it. The sound, man, that they were able to capture in 2005 is a sound like no other. I mean, to me, it's a sound to no other. But man, such a good album. Everything except for Nails, so good, man. I really appreciate Panic, their music, everything. Brendan, Ryan, Spencer, John. I appreciate all of them. They really made some good ass music. And people who have not listened to Panic at the Disco should give Panic at the Disco a try. I know you will find a few songs throughout all their albums that you will really like. You might even find a few albums that you really love, because they have been doing this for 17 years now. Well, the name Panic at the Disco has been making music for 17 years now. There's so much music to be told there. So much different types of music to check out. Give it a chance, you know? And if you give it a chance and you still decide it's not for you, then hey, you gave it a chance and I respect it. But I think that's gonna do it for my Panic at the Disco series. It's been fun. I'm so happy I get to talk to you guys all about it, share my thoughts and opinions on the band and on all the albums and all the songs. It's been fun, you know? And I'm glad I got to go over every album. I don't know. I don't really do that often, but Viva Las Vengeance made me do it, and I'm glad it did. But I think that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to sign off and get editing these videos so I can upload them and you guys can watch these as fast as possible. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I hope it's around 20-25 minutes. If not, then I apologize for making long videos. But it means so much to me that you guys stick through and watch it all, you know. I'm so glad and grateful. I just realized real quick, actually, before I was going to end this video, I never gave this an album ranking. I'll make this pretty quick, though. So, production and sound, 5. Lyrics, 5. Influence, 5. Casual listeners, I'm going to give this an A. Fans, I'm going to give this an A. And for me, I'm going to give this an A+. All around, 5 out of 5. I think this is a perfect album from Panic at the Disco. This is who Panic at the Disco is, and this is who they will forever will be, with the sound of, you know, their style of music changing and all that. You know, I'll stick with the sounds and I'll stick with the changes, even if I don't like them. You know, I have with Pray for the Wicked, and I have with everything else, so I'll continue to do so. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching every Panic video I put out. It means so much to me, and it's glad to know that I have some subscribers out there who are Panic at the Disco fans. Now let's see what else we have in common, or if not, you know, leave down in the comment section down below what you want me to check out, what you want me to review or talk about. I'm more than willing to do so. So yeah, let me know. I thank you guys so much, and this is gonna do it. And I'll see you guys in the live stream tomorrow. I'm excited. That should probably come out between somewhere 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so be on the lookout for that, and I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. I'll catch you guys in the live stream. Stay safe. Have a good night. Have a good day. Wherever you're doing, wherever you are, stay safe. Spread the love, and I'll catch you guys in the live stream. Bye.